right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use this RV. First of all, here's your tongue jack. There are two buttons, one's to raise and lower it, and then the other one is for a light if you're docking at night. You do have your two propane tanks here. To access these, you just lift the cover off, and then inside there are two propane tanks. Now, there's an arrow, it'll point towards one or the other. Just make sure whichever tank you're using, the arrow is pointed towards that. Also, when you open up your propane, don't open up really fast. You want to kind of break it loose and kind of slowly open it. You don't want too much pressure in there just to get it flowing properly. Hopefully you never need it. The batteries are located behind that. If you ever needed to access that, that's where that would be. You do have a large storage area here for your gear. That's where you're gonna find your water hose, your sewer hose, all that kind of gear is gonna be in there. You do have, each corner has a stabilizer jack. There's a hand crank in here. And all you do is you're gonna put that hand crank on and lower those jacks. Now, those don't level the RV. They just make it more stable, so when you're walking inside, it doesn't wobble on you. It's very important, too, with the rear slide out on this, that you have the rear ones down. That way, it's solid when you're getting in and out. You do have a large awning. Just remember, any wind, rain, anything like that at all, you want to keep this guy closed. A big gust of wind can rip them off. These are just aluminum arms. They're very expensive to replace. They run about $2,000. It comes in a kit, so just be careful with that. Like I said, we recommend if you're not literally sitting underneath it, make sure that guy's closed. Don't go to bed with it out or anything like that. Close it at night, all that kind of stuff. Now we're gonna talk about the door. First of all, to get in the door, there's a handle here. To operate this handle, you actually push up on it and then it'll twist out of the way. We're gonna talk about the door right here. Now, every once in a while we have somebody get in here and break a key off or something like that. What you wanna do is make sure that you put pressure on the door when you're turning the key. There's a rubber seal that goes all the way around the door, and that actually pushes outwards on the door when you close it. That's what keeps the seal. So if you're gonna operate the door, you wanna put your hand about right here. You'll actually push the door closed and then pull open like that. Same thing, when you're operating the key, push it closed, turn the key. You should never need to force a key. All the keys should go smooth. If it's not going smooth, make sure you're pushing on the door. We're gonna open this up. Whenever you're operating the stairs, you're going to make sure this is all the way open so that these stairs can flow freely. Now, once we're in the position right here, there's a blue lever. This is gonna unlock it so you can actually fold it down. So you pull the lever out, you begin to rotate, and then just so you can see, there's little notches here and a little push button kind of thing here. You would push on that, and this actually adjusts the legs. You can independently adjust each leg to make sure your stairs are level when they're down. So we're gonna put them down like this, and a key feature here, a key thing you need to make sure is that this is flush right here on the corner. If this is up, not flush, and you go to close the door, that can actually bend the door frame, and you wanna be really careful about that. So you wanna make sure that's completely flush so you can operate the door freely. Now I'm gonna reverse the process and close it up. You just swing this guy up just like this. You're gonna pull the valve here, lock it in place, and then you're gonna close this. Remember, when we're closing, we wanna push right here on the door. It'll click into place, and then you can operate your key by pushing and turning the key. Now, also when you're traveling, we recommend you flip this up and close it over the door just like that. That way, if it pops open on you or something, this will lock it in place so the door doesn't fly open on you while you're driving. As we come around, we do have some exhaust here. This can get hot, so just make sure you're not leaning any gear on the trailer or anything like that. You do have a couple electrical outlets. Just remember, any major appliance, air conditioner, microwave, that kind of stuff, and including outlets, you must be running a generator to use them or plugged in at an RV park running shore power. Once again, we come around, we do have our little stabilizer jacks here. And then, as you can see, we already have the slide out for you. This comes out pretty far, so just make sure you don't park close to a tree or anything like that. And then these right here on the corners, make sure you're careful walking around. You don't want to bang into one of these or have one of your kids bang into them. Hopefully you never need it, but there is a spare tire as well. Trailers don't come with jacks for changing tires. You would actually use your vehicle jack to change a trailer tire, but there is a spare there in case you do need that. As we come around, we're gonna walk around. We just wanna remind you that anytime you're operating this, make sure nobody's in it and there's no weight on it. And also when you're closing it, and we'll go over it on the inside, that everything is out of the way and the seat cushions are down so that this can close in properly, okay? It expands the space a lot, and it's super nice when you're inside. We're gonna talk about the one more stabilizer jack here, and then you have your power cord connect, your 30 amp connect right here. This is where you would plug the power cord in, and now either that's gonna plug into your generator to power the RV, or it'll plug in at the RV park. Now, one thing we consistently run into is people calling us and saying, hey, I'm plugged in and there's no power in the RV, what's going on? 99% of the time, there's a breaker box on the actual panel at the RV park. The parks will shut that breaker off when the campground or campsite is not in use. So make sure once you hook in and all that, make sure that the breaker is turned on at the RV park. 99% of the time has nothing to do with the RV. It's that breaker box panel at the park. So just be aware of that. Perfect. We're gonna come around, we're gonna talk about your water. Right here is a city connect, and then right here is your water tank. Now, we do not recommend you use the city water connect. Just remember, the plumbing in an RV is not like the plumbing in your house. They're just plastic fittings, kind of just pushed together. They're not sealed 100%. And if you have a lot of pressure coming in there, it's gonna blow one of those out, or it'll have a consistent drip to it or something like that. So if you did, for some reason, decide to use city water, make sure anytime you're not using the water, you're literally gonna need to come outside, turn off the spigot, especially if you're going hiking or anything like that. You don't wanna come back in and you had a leak while you're gone and the trailer's flooded or something like that. So once again, we always recommend you just fill up the water tank and then turn on your water pump when you're using water. Make sure, once again, you turn off the water pump when you're not using water. Otherwise, it's gonna be the same issue. Say you had a leak, the water pump's just gonna pump water through it, okay? So just make sure anytime you're using water, you turn the water on. When you're not using the water, you turn it off. You do have an outside shower here, and then right up here on the top, it says black tank flush. Now we're gonna get into the black tank and gray tank dumping right now. So when you're dumping a black tank, this is actually gonna help wash out the black tank. You'll hook the hose into this, it'll actually cycle water through the tank. Now there's two pull valves, I already got them open for us here. There's a black valve and a gray valve. The gray handle's for the gray water, which is like dirty shower water, sink water, all that kind of stuff. And then you have your black valve, which is the sewer. Now you can always tell because the gray water pipe is smaller than the black water pipe. Now, what you'll do is you'll hook your sewer hose on here. You would actually pull your black one first and let that drain out. Now, if you're running water, you would run that water through there now once it's all hooked up and that's open to help flush out the black tank. You do not want to run water through that if this is closed because you don't want to build up pressure inside the tank or have it come out the bottom of the toilet or something like that. So just remember, if you're running water through there, go ahead and make sure that valve's open. Once you're done, you'll turn off your water, close that, and then you can go ahead and pull the gray valve. That's going to kind of clean out your sewer hose and all that kind of stuff. Two more things on this side. We're going to talk about your last stabilizer jack here. And then you do have another exhaust here. This can get warm just like the other side, so make sure you're not leaning any gear on the trailer or anything like that at all. Now we're gonna head on inside and I'm gonna show you how to use it in there. Let's go. All right, guys, we're gonna go over this, and first of all, we're gonna talk about the control panel. The control panel is located right here. This is where you're gonna find all your gauges. You have your battery level, your fresh water, your black water, and your gray water. Just remember, these are guides. They're not 100% accurate, and oftentimes they actually misread. You do have a couple buttons here. You do have your interior lighting. You have some exterior lighting. And then right below here, you're gonna have your slide out control and your awning extend and retract. Just remember, wind, rain, or anything, make sure that awning is retract. And then anytime you're operating the slide out, make sure that there's no weight on the slide out or that the bed and the couch are in the down position. As you can see, if you tried to bring it in right now, it would hit the back of the couch and you could actually damage the slide out. So just be really careful. And I'll show you how to level this here in a minute when we get back there. You do have right here on the side, you do have your temperature control. This is actually your heater. So you would click it on up top and then you can set the temperature here. You do have a nice stereo system. And then we're gonna talk about the bed area here. It's an awesome sleeping area. You have some outlets right there. You actually have a little outlet here that'll actually run off the 12-volt battery. So that's nice if you need to charge some devices or something like that and you don't want to turn the generator on. You have a nice bunk bed and then you have a nice big bed here for easily 2 adults. So we're going to talk about the bathroom and how to use this. First off, if you're not familiar with RV bathrooms, the toilet has a foot flush pedal. Now to operate this, you would actually push it down halfway and it'll start to fill the bowl with some water. You would go ahead and handle your business, and then when you're done, you actually push that all the way down and it'll run more water through it. You also have a GFCI outlet on the wall. If for some reason an outlet's not working or something like that, you'd want to make sure that you double check the GFCI outlet. And then next to that is actually the water heater. Now how this works is you're going to turn it on with the red button, and then there's an up and down button. Those are to control your temperature. What you want to do is set your temperature to your desired heat level. I personally like 105. And then what you'll do is you'll actually turn on the shower. It takes about 30 to 60 seconds. And then you'll start having water. It's an Insta hot water heater. It'll continuously be hot. We're also going to talk about the controls on this. The top one is actually to cycles through each of the sprayers, left and right. That'll cycle those. And then on the bottom, that's actually how you turn it on and control temperature as well. You actually lift it towards you and upwards, and that turns on the water flow. And then going left and right actually will set the temperature for you. Once again, I like to just set the temperature on the heater and then keep it at a constant 105 or whatever temperature, and you shouldn't need to do anything else. We're going to talk about your Sink area, this is really nice. Just make sure you're not loading a lot of gear in here when you travel. There's not a strong seal on that, so if you put too much stuff in here, these can tend to pop down and come loose, so just make sure you're not doing that. And then you also have your 3-burner cooktop right here. Now this is not a glass cooktop. Now to operate this, you're actually just gonna lift this up just like this. It folds up out of the way, and this now becomes your backsplash for cooking. You would go ahead and cook your meals or whatever you need to do. Let this cool down first, and then you'll go ahead and close this just like that. Now, we have had some people in the past do not do this. Light the burners and then put the glass down, and they think they can cook on the glass for some reason. This is not a glass cooktop or anything like that at all. This always must be up out of the way anytime you're cooking. And you don't want to touch it with a hot pan or anything like that. That would definitely make the glass shatter, so just be really careful about that. There's a nice microwave here. And now we're going to talk also about the breaker box and battery disconnect switch. So right here on the bottom is actually your battery disconnect switch in red. If for some reason you have no power going on inside the RV, you always want to check that first and make sure one of the kids didn't turn it off or something like that. And then right next to that is like a breaker box. That would be like breaker panels, fuses, that kind of thing is located there. We're going to talk about the fridge. This is really nice. It actually will open both ways, this side and this way, but we actually don't recommend you do that. What you want to do is you just squeeze your hand here. It's going to open up just like that. And then from the inside, just for this one time, I'm going to show you how this works. You'll close it. You want to make sure it's latched completely. And then you can actually open it from this side. We always recommend you go from the other side. What can happen is if one of these is loose and you didn't close it completely, the door will actually fall off. To control temperature, you just turn it on up there, and then you do have a nice freezer box below. Once again, make sure anytime you're closing this, give it a good close. Make sure it's solid. You don't want the door to fall off on you. We're going to talk about a couple other things here. First off, you have a very nice couch, and you have a dinette area. Now, these are really nice because they actually convert into beds. Now, to do the couch, it's really simple. You just take one of your hands like this, you're gonna lift up on it, and it actually comes flat just like that. And then the same thing, to reverse it, you kind of push on it and fold it up. Now, what I want you to see is, see how this is flat? Once this is flat, you can actually close this. You do not want to operate the slide out at all with this up in the couch position. It will damage the slide system. Same thing here. This is really simple. I'm going to close this just so you can get a better view. Actually, before I do that, I want to go over this right here. This, we don't actually recommend you use this, but if you do, make sure, now this actually controls the power to the lights. You would actually have to plug this in. Now what can happen is we've had people forget to unplug it and then close the slide out and damage this. This runs about $350, $400. So if you do that and it damages it, it's really expensive. So the easiest thing is just don't even use this. I'm gonna pull it right now just to show you what happens. All it controls are these 4 lights, that's it. So we actually tuck this up underneath there. If you had to, like I said, if you're really wanting to use it, you can plug it in, but just be aware you must pull it out before you close the slide out. I'm gonna turn it back on for now, and we're gonna talk about the dinette. I'm gonna put this back up just so you can see how it works. Super easy. You kind of just push and pull, folds right back down. And then we're gonna talk about this. Now, to make this a sleeping area, all you do is remove the table. You're actually gonna put the table in these grooves right here, remove the legs, and it sits right there flush. And then you'll take these back cushions and lay it right on top. Now, that is the configuration as well for when you're closing this. So this table needs to be down, set, flat, the cushions on top, and then you can bring that slide out in. This is an awesome sleeping area. This is just a fun trailer. You can have your kids hanging out here, playing cards, just having a good time, especially on those rainy days. This is one of our favorite RVs. We just love it. The last thing I want to go over is your air conditioner. Now, right above me, right here is your temperature control. You'll turn it on, and then you can run these temps right here. Now, remember, major appliances, air conditioner, microwave, all those items must be plugged in when you're running them. Otherwise, they're not going to turn on. Other than that, this trailer is awesome. You guys are going to love it, and we can't wait to see you. We'll see you soon.